Happening now, what we know about an overnight house fire in Chautauqua County. Plus, could Jamestown develop its own broadband network? Mayor Eddie Sundquist thinks so.
Well, we've got lots of sunshine out there for the early afternoon, and temperatures are going up from here. We'll talk about it in detail next as the news at noon starts right now.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
And thanks for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. We start with some news that just came into our newsroom. A 47-year-old man has been indicted for allegedly trafficking drugs in the Jamestown area. Jamestown police saying a Chautauqua County grand jury indicted John Azalone last week for second-degree felony criminal possession of a controlled substance. Now, the indictment stems from a search of a Hazard Street location back in January where investigators say they recovered more than 8 ounces of powdered cocaine, anabolic steroids, scales, packaging materials for illegal drug trafficking, ammunition, and more than $4,500 in cash. The raid was part of a large-scale investigation nicknamed Operation Crazy Ivan that police say involved several search warrants in the Jamestown and Falconer areas targeting powdered cocaine trafficking into the city. Azalone was taken into custody on the indictment yesterday afternoon after investigators conducted a vehicle stop on West 3rd Street here in Jamestown. Police say he was arraigned in Chautauqua County Court this morning and released without bail under a provision of the state's Bail Reform Act. Police say the investigation is ongoing and additional charges are expected. Well, and fire investigators are looking into what caused an overnight blaze in the town of Gary. The Gary Fire Department was called to 5172 Herrick Road just after 2:30 in the morning for a house fire. Firefighters from Kennedy, Falconer, Sinclairville, and Ellery also responded to the scene, along with the Chautauqua County Emergency Services. Crews battled the blaze for around 3 hours. It's unclear if anyone was injured as a result of the fire. However, fire dispatch reports indicate one person was taken to UPMC Chautauqua Hospital. We're working to confirm that now, and we'll provide additional updates online at WNYNewsNow.com. Well, by May 1st, all 50 states will have expanded COVID-19 vaccine eligibility to everybody over 16. That policy, in fact, went into effect in New York State today. It's happening as COVID variants continue to spread and new variants keep popping up. Britt Conway has the latest on the race between vaccinations and variants.
From production to packaging to planes to the pavement and to the people.
Okay, here we go.
The COVID-19 vaccine rollout is going strong, with every state announcing plans to expand vaccine eligibility to people 16 years and older, if they haven't already. But Dr. Ashish Jha, epidemiologist Michael Osterholm, and Dr. Paul Offit worry it's creating false hope. Average new case counts are up more than 16% these past 2 weeks, and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says part of the reason for the rise is because of variants like the one first spotted in the UK.
It's not long before it's going to sweep across the country.
And the variants make it particularly concerning.
That's because there are still so many questions about the variants.
To date, we don't know that these variants have completely escaped immunity, where, for example, if you've been naturally infected or immunized, you still may be hospitalized or be in an ICU or die.
And there are other variants popping up, like the one first identified in India that's also been reported in California, not to mention the variants still to come as viruses mutate over time.
Where will these new variants come from that we couldn't even imagine today?
Still, they all agree vaccinations are our best bet.
Either get vaccinated, or if we haven't had a chance to get a vaccine yet, at least wear a mask and social distance.
So we really do have to hunker down for a few more weeks.
I'm Britt Conway reporting.
Britt, thank you. The Chautauqua County Health Department is hosting another vaccine clinic at SUNY JCC this week with Pfizer's shot. You can make an appointment online at chqgov.com. Well, leaders in New York are expected to release updated COVID-19 guidance for schools very soon. Governor Andrew Cuomo and his team addressed the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's recommendations that students' desks can be separated by 3 feet rather than the previously recommended 6. The state's Department of Health commissioner saying his department will need to work with local districts on the guidance because each district is different. The governor says the new recommendations should be coming out within a week, but says it's not easy coming up with the guidance.
It's not as simple as you suggest. Some superintendents like it. Many superintendents don't like it. Some parents like it. Many parents don't like it. Some teachers like it. Many teachers don't like it. So this is not, the reason it has taken time is it is very controversial.
Officials say the guidance for school districts could come out as early as the next 24 to 48 hours. 2 weeks ago, the CDC updated their recommendations. Several local health leaders, including the Chautauqua County's health director, saying the new federal recommendations for schools is a step in the right direction. Well, this year's Fire and Ice celebration has gone virtual. The annual fundraiser benefits the Child Advocacy Program, which works to end child abuse here in Chautauqua County. It usually takes place in February, with over 20,000 pounds of ice worked into carved sculptures and martini luges. However, officials with the Chautauqua Harbor Hotel in Celeron say because of gathering restrictions, this year's event will take place online. A virtual raffle is now underway, with grand prize winners getting a 2-night stay in a Lakeview suite at the Harbor Hotel. They will also win free admission to some of the area's top attractions, dining at the Lake House Tap and Grill, and a half-day sailing adventure. Now, those who score the second place prize will receive a 1-night stay at the hotel, dinner for 2, champagne upon arrival, a gift basket, and more. The raffle runs through April 23rd, with every entry posted online. Last year, the event raised $20,000 for that program. Well, thanks for joining us for WNY News Now as we get a check of some local news headlines this hour. Let us know what you think about these stories and more in the comments down below. We'd love to connect with you guys. Good to see Narda. Good to see Patty, Diane, Sandy, Tracy, and Connie as well. Hopefully you all are having a good day. Great to see Lisa and Ruth too. Well, now let's get a first check of our weather forecast. Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter standing by with that. And Dakota, I gotta say, it seems like spring has sprung.
Yes, and it's actually going past spring, because if you look at the temperatures coming up over the next couple of days, it's not going to feel like spring, more like summer, and I really think you're going to appreciate it. 60 right now in Salamanca, traffic flowing pretty good over I-86, and we have just a few light clouds that are starting to come in now, but these clouds should not produce anything in the way of rainfall. There will be a small chance for at least an isolated rain shower later this afternoon into tonight, as we actually have a surface boundary that's actually across the area, along with a stalled surface front that is just to our south. 59 was the high yesterday. We didn't quite make it to 60. We were just 1 degree shy. 41 is where we started the day. 81 and 15 are the record highs and lows for this date set at the airport. So through the afternoon today, partly to mostly sunny. There will be an isolated rain shower later in the afternoon towards sunset, and then as we get into tonight, there will be a better chance for a few more rain showers. A much milder day. 63 at the immediate Lake Erie water, going to 72 while inland with a northwest wind averaging light. So that should be pretty good. Tomorrow is going to be another great day, and then temperatures go up from here through at least the middle of the week. We'll talk about it in detail next with that 42 degrees and sunny 7-day forecast later in the show. Justin.
All right, Dakota, a wonderful day out there. I mean, thank you. We love it. Well, Jamestown's mayor is continuing to work on a plan that could provide free or low-cost internet to those living within city limits. Jamestown Mayor Eddie Sundquist spoke with reporters following U.S. Senator Chuck Schumer's visit to the National Comedy Center yesterday, where he touted the almost $30 million of federal funds that's coming to the city. Sundquist says he would like to see the area attract more tech companies, bringing jobs and growing the tax base. Part of that plan is developing a municipal broadband network, an idea that dates back to when Sundquist kicked off his mayoral campaign. The mayor says he's looking at using federal aid to help further the idea.
We're working through the process now in terms of feasibility studies and what the total cost would look like, but the city of Jamestown is unique in the fact that we own our own utility company. So we own all of the poles, all of the infrastructure that already exists that many entities have to build out from the start.
Now, throughout the pandemic, many people working from home and school children and families struggle to find affordable and reliable access to the internet, something a municipal system would look to achieve. The mayor says as he continues to hash out the proposal, he'll be taking feedback from the community. Now, as far as he knows, no other cities have developed their own broadband network. Well, speaking of technology, the highly competitive smartphone market is losing a major player. LG announced it will soon leave the smartphone business after nearly 2 decades of innovative mobile designs. Mary Maloney with the 3 reasons why the once pioneering tech giant is calling it quits.
LG is hanging up its smartphone business. The South Korean tech giant announcing its mobile phone division is expected to wind down by the end of July.
In US market, it's the 3rd largest vendor with almost 9% market share.
LG was once one of the top 3 global smartphone makers. Its displays and cameras were among the best on the market, but experts say in the end, it couldn't keep up. Squeezed at the top by high-end companies like Samsung and Apple, squeezed at the bottom by cheaper Chinese smartphone brands. The move comes after years of losses, dwindling popularity, and a shift in focus. The company says it will now focus on growth areas like electric vehicle components, smart homes, and artificial intelligence.
Still, people use LG TVs, LG washing machines, LG refrigerators, and I think they have an opportunity to enter into a lot of other consumer lifestyle devices.
LG became known for pushing the limits of design. In 2013, it came out with a curved smartphone screen. Last year, it unveiled a 5G-enabled smartphone that came with 2 screens, including one that could rotate up to 90 degrees. And just 3 months ago, the company was still turning heads. LG revealing a phone that could be rolled up to turn into a tablet. The decision to call it quits was met with an outpouring of nostalgia on social media, with people sharing photos of their first LG phones and praising the company's innovative spirit. I'm Mary Maloney.
Mary, thank you. Many are asking now, what happens if you have an LG phone? Well, the company says it's going to provide software updates and service for existing mobile phone products for a period of time, depending on the market. It will continue with the warranty as well. Next here, a lot more to tell you about the latest in a high-speed chase with Jamestown police. And later, a Jamestown area basketball team is gearing up for their upcoming season, a preview of what's to come as WNY News Now rolls along.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
Honest John says what you're looking for. When you want it good, we're gonna give you lots more.
From freshly made subs to the best of pizza and wings, Honest John's has what you're looking for. And now 2 great locations, East 2nd Street and Fairmount Avenue. Order takeout or delivery today, online at honestjohns.pizza.
You're gonna get it good at Honest John's.
There's an old saying, there's no news in the newsroom. Well, it's true. The time I spend at the anchor desk is just part of my day. Most of our time is spent gathering stories in the community, stories that matter to you. We can't do it alone, and we need your help. When you see breaking news or have a news tip we should know about, drop us a line on Facebook today, email our news desk, or call our newsroom at 488-7226 so we can bring those stories straight back to you.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer, plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
And welcome back to WNY News Now. A 40-year-old Jamestown man is behind bars following a wild high-speed vehicle chase with police that ended in a crash on the railroad tracks downtown. Police say Michael Newman was arrested last Friday following the pursuit and subsequent crash. Officers allege he fled after police attempted a vehicle stop for a traffic violation in the area of West 8th and Washington Streets. Newman continued at a high rate of speed on West 8th before turning south onto Locust Alley. He then, police say, continued through a driveway off that alley, striking a parked car. The man continued driving through a yard in the area of Clinton and West 3rd Streets behind several businesses. At that time, he drove down a steep embankment from West 3rd to 2nd Streets, crashing on the railroad tracks. That's when police say he exited his vehicle on foot and took off. Officers gave chase, eventually taking the man into custody. Well, leaders in New York have reached a conceptual agreement to pass the state's budget. The budget remains several days overdue now, and some issues remain a topic of discussion, like funding for excluded workers. That's as New York State Capitol correspondent Karina Capabianca reports. It includes undocumented immigrants and those recently released from incarceration.
Advocates marched down the state capitol concourse calling for a $3.5 billion fund for excluded workers to be included in the state budget. Some of them have been on a hunger strike for 21 days.
It is not lost on me that I received multiple stimulus packages, that I received a multitude of pandemic assistance and unemployment insurance. And I know that that money came from their taxes too!
The Fund Excluded Workers Coalition says the money would help out about 275,000 excluded workers, and they want it to be accessible.
These folks have not received any money for over a year. They have families and they have children to feed. They are tired of asking.
Senate Republican leader Rob Ort has spoken out against the funding, saying, as New York families and businesses fight for their physical and economic well-being, Democrats are raising taxes and using your federal stimulus dollars to enact a radical agenda rather than helping veterans, small Main Street businesses, teachers, and senior citizens. We've not heard directly from the governor on the issue. At a closed press event earlier today, he had this to say seemingly about the budget.
We're working on a plan in Albany now that's going to build a New York that is reimagined, reinvented, rebuilt, reunited in a way never before.
The state comptroller's office has said if a state budget is not adopted by today, there could be a delay for 39,000 state workers' paychecks. In Albany, Karina Capabianca.
Karina, thank you. So far, only one budget bill, the Debit Services Bill, has passed. It's not clear when lawmakers plan to pass the rest of the budget. Well, a bankruptcy case against the Boy Scouts of America could exceed $103 billion. A committee consisting of survivors of childhood sex abuse in the case have filed a legal request to submit their own reconciliation plan of the organization. The group says victims are not duly compensated under the $300 million fund that is currently up for consideration. They say a $103 billion fund is more appropriate, which would cover about 84,000 claims. The Boy Scouts' current child protection protocol have been in place since the mid-1990s. The Scouts did not propose revisiting or updating its child protection protocol. Even more than 11,000 of the 84,000 child sex abuse claims rose after that time. The Boy Scouts put out a statement on the court filing saying the organization will continue to work with survivors and insurers to compensate victims. Well, wondering what to wear today? How about the kilt? It's National Tartan Day, after all. What is that? Well, a tartan itself is that plaid pattern that consists of a crossed vertical and horizontal bands in a variety of colors. Such patterns are commonly found in Scottish clan kilts, and the tartans have become synonymous with Scotland as a result. Created by a presidential proclamation in 2008, National Tartan Day celebrates Americans who have their Scottish ancestry. It also honors the Declaration of Arbroath, signed in April 6, 1320. It's the pact that asserted Scottish independence from England, and when Congress first considered National Tartan Day, lawmakers cited the Declaration as their inspiration for the U.S. Declaration of Independence. Everything's connected. Thanks for joining us for WNY News Now. Let us know what you think about National Totten Day in the comments and down below. I wish we would have known this morning, Dakota. We could have worn our traditional Scottish guard.
Right.
We're probably the farthest from Scottish culture that you can have two Italians here on the news.
Well, I mean, I don't have anything related to talk about the actual kilts, but I used to live. I used to live across the street from Ring School.
Yeah.
And, this was many years ago. And there used to be a bagpipe band that used to practice in the school's parking lot. And it was during the summer. And, during the summer months, it was nice to just sit out on my front porch and listen to them practice the bagpipes.
Those are loud instruments. I mean, that's not something that you can do quietly. I mean, the whole neighborhood would
But
hear.
I liked it. It was nice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And
it was free. I mean, it was free entertainment.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
there's a lot of that going around.
Yeah.
A lot of just free entertainment. Just watch. Just people watch.
My dad, my dad would even join in on the fun. Cup of coffee and a cigarette out there.
Can't do anything better. Good to see Crystal. Good to see Jason, David, and JJ as well. Hopefully y'all are having a good day. Let us know what you think about these stories and more in the comments down below. Simply send us a wave, a hello. We'd love to hear from you either way. A lot of people loving the weather forecast the last couple of days. And it really is just nice out there. I mean, there's really not much more we can say.
Yeah, I mean, it's really nice. But if you are looking for rain, you're going to have to keep looking here. We're looking for rain in all the wrong places here. Since the beginning of March, we've only had 1.84 inches of rain gauged at the Jamestown airport. To date, we should have 3.68 inches. That equals a rainfall deficit of 1.84 inches. So we are running below average rainfall. And as we mentioned yesterday, the drought conditions across western New York and northwestern Pennsylvania continue to worsen here. We're under this moderate drought condition. That's this tan shade across much of western New York and northwestern Pennsylvania. The yellow shade is abnormally dry. So the ground conditions are still relatively dry. That is part of the reason why we have this high wildfire risk across the region. And tomorrow there's going to be an elevated risk because we're talking lower humidity values for tomorrow. The humidity values are forecast between 15 and 35%. That means the air is going to be relatively dry, and the brush is still dry and crumbly. Timber is still very dry. So again, any small fire can quickly become a wildfire. So the same thing we've been preaching all spring long is respect the burn ban. Please and thank you. 58 as a noon hour right now. Got some partial sunshine downtown. Southeast wind to 6. And again, that low dew point number at 38 degrees. But again, as you saw, it's going to get much lower tomorrow. That's going to increase the wildfire risk. So we have this stationary front that's parked just to our south. This front, along with the two low pressure areas, one to the top of it, one to the bottom, east and south here. We've got this one that's going to be moving on through with a weak disturbance. This is what's likely going to produce some of the rain showers overnight, and then possibly later in the morning hours tomorrow. But again, it's not going to be all day rain, and it's only going to be a spotty chance at that. Inland areas, look at this. We could get up to close to 70 degrees in some spots. The warmer area likely is going to be Warren County, where you may get up to 73 in Warren, 72 down in Tidiute. Hey, if you've got a tea time tomorrow, it's looking nice. There are a little bit more clouds than what we had today, but it's still going to be nice. 53 up to around 73 degrees for the afternoon high tomorrow. Northwest wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. And again, there will be a small chance of a shower early in the morning. Then it's partly cloudy, but it will be dry through the day with those low humidity values. Next 7 days of your life brought to you by 42 degrees and sunny. 72 tomorrow. Again, cooler at the lakeside tomorrow as well. June like on Thursday, 76. The record is 83, set in 1991. Don't think we'll break it. 66 on Friday. Not a total washout. Rain showers at times. The weekend, kind of iffy here. 30 to 35% chance of a shower down into the 60s. And then Monday, the sun returns, and then we'll stay in the 60s for temperatures. We'll take a break. Be right back. First Defense Weather is sponsored by 42 Degrees and Sunny. Smokin' deals on smoking accessories. Learn more at 42degreesandsunny.com. That's 42degreesandsunny.com.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor.
Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
But 98% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
And welcome back to WNY News Now. Finally here today, a professional basketball team in Jamestown is getting ready to hit the court for their first time since the COVID-19 shutdown. As WNY News Now's Andrew Kane reports, the Jamestown Jackals are slated to hold their first game this weekend in Warren, Pennsylvania. However, there are several changes this year that fans might not be used to seeing in years past.
We'll do temperature checks and all fans will be required to wear a mask. We're using the side entrance and we're doing all merchandise and ticket sales outside. So we just have access to the back court, but we will be able to have fans this weekend. It's limited to about 200 fans.
That's team owner Kayla Crosby, who says 5 players are returning from years past, including team captain Raheem Singleton, who this year will take on a new role of player coach. Singleton says it is a relief to be back on the court after the wrench that COVID-19 threw into the team's last season.
After a time of a lot of uncertainty and different things, it means a step in the right direction. You know, the fact that we're able to get back to playing in different things, you know, it means that it's a step heading back towards normal. Fans get to come out and, you know, different things like that. We've been at home isolated and not really able to interact with each other.
More so than the games themselves, Crosby's theme for this year and beyond is community. She wants the players to heed this call.
We hire the players as mentors and positive role models. And so we're working with a consultant right now to set up a full mentoring program. So we'll be advertising the requirements and the different demographics of students that we're looking for.
Singleton is certainly buying into it.
Like I tell all the guys, you know, we're Jamestown's NBA. You know, a lot of these kids probably won't ever have the luxury of going to an NBA game, but so that means that you hold a greater value to them. You know, they get to see you. They get to, you know, have conversations with you, sign autographs after the game. So, you know, it means a lot to us because, you know, it helps us understand why we're doing this. You know, it's not just for us, it's for them to be able to see the light at the end of the tunnel. So I think that's the best part about it.
To buy tickets and for more information about this year's season, visit jamestownjackals.ticketleap.com. Andrew Kane, WNY News Now.
All right, Andrew, thank you. Great to see some basketball coming back, and it looked like a really fun day out there yesterday. You know, media day, if you don't know about basketball teams and pretty much any sport, they have these big media days where the news comes and does interviews and gets different shots, and you know, team shot there, everybody with their masks up, gathering together, and then like Kayla said in the package, really giving back to the community is what it's all about. That's great to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, you know, I think a lot of our sports teams that we have here are sort of that same way, where, you know, even when the Tarp Skunks season starts, you know, there's probably going to be kind of like what he said, a lot of people in the community, a lot of the younger kids in the community who may not be able to afford to go to an actual baseball game like the Yankees or the Red Sox or what have you, where they can go to, you know, and watch the Tarp Skunks play.
And you have that interaction all the time. We saw it over the weekend with the Easter egg handout, because they couldn't do an Easter egg hunt, so each kid, it was like a drive-through parent. They had Easter Bunny, and then they had Whiffy. We talked about that last week, the Tarp Skunks mascot. And I think it's great to see that there are so many organizations doing great things. So the Jackals coming up this weekend, Friday. We'll have much more. Andrew will post a full story on WNYNewsNow.com probably in just a little bit with an actual link where people can log on and check out some more information. So that's going to do it for us today. Of course, news 24/7 at WNYNewsNow.com. We'll leave you with this live look over downtown Jamestown. Enjoy the sun today. Dakota and I are back tomorrow at noon. Hope to see you then.